Alright, we're starting right here in this sentence in paragraph 2. They have the power and ability to extract natural resources from the earth. The increasing competition among transnats and growing human population means more and more resources are being removed. This situation threatens human life on Earth. Pause. What is the problem that the author introduces? So on this line right here, write down what is the problem. When you're done with that, we'll move to paragraph 3. Robinson played out this idea throughout his 3 books. Robinson's idea of moving human civilization to Mars is creative. Still, the idea of the need for space colonization has been around for centuries. As long as man has been able to imagine a frontier, he has wanted to conquer it. This is no less true for the space outside our planet. Pause there. Answer this question on the line. What is the idea of how to solve the problem? We'll move on to 4. The German astronomer and mathematician Johannes Kepler discovered the laws of planetary motion in the 17th century. Kepler was the first person to calculate the orbit of Mars. In a letter dated from 1610, Kepler wrote to Galileo, "As soon as somebody demonstrates the art of flying, settlers from our species of man will not be lacking. Given ships or sails adapted to the breezes of heaven, there will be those who will not shrink from even that vast expanse." Paragraph 5. Kepler was of course correct. As soon as men could get off the earth, they did. For Kepler, the obstacle was only technological. Indeed, it took a long time to master the technology. The technological discoveries were aided by men of both science and letters, writing. Paragraph 6. Jules Verne, considered to be the father of the science fiction genre, predicted a human voyage to the moon in his 1865 novel From the Earth to the Moon. For the story, Verne calculated many of the details of rocket propulsion, a technology that was barely beginning in 1865. What is remarkable to many scientists is the accuracy with which Verne calculated his rocket's mechanics. He also placed the rocket's point of departure in Florida, very near to the site of the Kennedy Space Center. Pause there, and then write your answer to the question. What were the predictions that came true? When you're done with that, we'll move on to paragraph 7. It was Verne's literary successor, H.G. Wells, who imagined a more pressing need for getting humans off the planet. In a lecture in 1902, the author prophesied a need for man to leave the earth. Paragraph 8. It is conceivable that some great unexpected mass of matter should presently rush upon us out of space, whirl sun and planets aside like dead leaves before the breeze, and collide with and utterly destroy every spark of life upon this earth. It is conceivable, too, that some pestilence may presently appear, some new disease that will destroy not 10 or 15 or 20% of the earth's inhabitants, as pestilences have done in the past, but 100%, and so end our race. And finally, there is reasonable certainty that this sun of ours must someday radiate itself toward extinction. Paragraph 9. Wells could imagine the end of the earth, but he did not believe it would occur. Instead, he imagined life would extend into space. Pause there and answer the question, what does Wells think about life on Earth? And then move to paragraph 10. Space colonization might sound like the stuff of fiction, but remember, the idea of space travel was just a fantasy in H.G. Wells' time. 100 years later, it became reality. Who can say how far we are from space colonization and life on Mars? Pause. Answer your last question. What was the author's purpose in this article? When you're done with that, we can move to the multiple choice. Question 1. Why did the author write this article? A. To explain why human life on Earth will come to an end. B. We already crossed out. It says to inform the reader about Red Mars Trilogy by Kim Stanley Robinson. This is incorrect because this is not the main idea of the whole article. It just is in one paragraph, I think, but not the whole article. C. To present information about how various scientists and authors have explored the idea of humans living on other planets. D, to persuade the reader to move to Mars. So think and circle what is the correct answer, A, C, or D. Then we'll move to number 2. Read the sentences from the text. As soon as somebody demonstrates the art of flying, settlers from our species of man will not be lacking. Given ships or sails adapted to the breezes of heaven, there will be those who will not shrink from even that vast expanse. And then with that, the question is, why did the author choose to include this quote from Kepler? So start with this. The author chose to include this quote from Kepler because and then we'll go down to this question. Answer using process of elimination. Why did the author choose to include the quote from H.G. Wells in paragraph 8? So for this, you're going to have to look back into paragraph 8, look at the quote, and then go through your multiple choice questions. So A, to show that not everyone believed man would travel to space. That's incorrect. This quote shows that Wells did believe man would travel to space, so that's wrong. We're going to cross out A. B, to strengthen his argument that people have always thought of space travel as exciting. C, to introduce another reason that people were interested in space travel. D, to provide another example of the accurate predictions that people made about the Earth. So go ahead and choose your answer choice. And then when you're done with that, explain why you chose that answer on this space to write right here. And that's all for this lesson.